So this is part 5 of this tutorial. Let's continue by working on this end here, and let's fix a few issues here that I'm seeing. So we can select this area, these vertices, and push them down a bit to around there, and we can extend this loop down as well. I think we can also just select this here and maybe these vertices, push them in front a bit. Let's come back here and move these back like that. Can select these, push them. Let me see what's going on here. Why do we have these? Let's turn off this. Do we need this? So we don't need this loop here, so we can merge this with that, and then we are left with this issue here. So we can bring that, I think, like that. And we can worry about this later, or we can remove this entire loop, dissolve that. If we added a loop here, because I see there is not a lot of resolution here, so we can select this, subdivide. What have we done? Select these here, subdivide, and just connect this with that, and we can dissolve that loop there. And I think we can also push these vertices outside a bit like that. And let's see how this looks. We don't have enough resolution here, so I think we can also select these edges around here, maybe even this, subdivide. We can push this and maybe join this with that. And we can drag this up like that. So we have this triangle, but I think it's not that big of a problem, so we can leave it there. And I think for this area here, we can just, let's see, you can push it like this, and we need to do that. You can just merge these. Like that. Let's see, we still have a problem here at this back side. There is not enough resolution here, so but I think if we look at this back side, where is that image? this image here. We have this thing here that we can add right now. So we need this to be, we need a cube like this. So around there. Let's see in this view. I guess it needs to extend to around there and up, or this here should be bigger than how it is right now. So we need to scale this up in the X and Z direction, but we need this to be our pivot point. So cursor as our pivot point, scale this in the X and Z plane. Now X and Z plane. Move this down a bit. Something like that. So we need these to be around there, and I think we can select this face and scale it. Make sure this is back to the pivot point. Scale it in just a bit like that, and these need to be rounded off. Control B. Let's change the profile back to something like that. I think before we bevel that, we need to move these vertices up to around there, and maybe these, let's keep it like that. Now we can bevel these like so, and before we join these two, we need to add those perforations or those holes in. So for those, let's create a plane. I'll make it face directly to me. Scale it around there. So these are going to be, make sure you scale the rotation and at scale, apply the scale and rotation. So they should be like that. Add an array in the Y direction. So they're around 7 like that, and we can give them a solidify modifier just to give them that. Let's change this back to solid mode, and we're going to use these to cut those holes. So we can isolate these two, rotate these, (90 degrees, 90 degrees), have them faced like that. Let's make sure that in the center of the object, and we can give this a Boolean modifier and select these as the object. I change the operation to difference. Now if we hide this, you can see we have the holes in there. We can unhide these, maybe move them closer to the edge a bit, around like that. Let's first unisolate this and see how this would merge. Grab this, so they should be around there. Also, I don't think they are as tall, so they should be something like that. And we need more for the top, so we can let's see, go to front view, use the same, clear the rotation, rotate. So we have those, but they don't have to be as tall. And they can be like that. We can bring them, and we can add a curve object here. Rotate it 90 degrees and use that as our curve deformer to deform these that array. So select this, add curve, then select this curve, and we can also, where is, move this to selection to cursor, and if we move them, I think in the Z direction, they will be moved closer like that. Or we can scale the curve itself, and also scale them, then move them in the Z direction again, and maybe scale them in the Y, and we can increase the distance between them. Let's move this in the Y and the X. So these are about 9. So let's increase the count to 9. Reduce the separation, the offset, and maybe scale them a bit. Reduce the separation and move them along the Z axis like that. We can also squish this curve a bit. So that is small, so that they're not too bent like that. So you can do around this. It's not working like that. Let's first undo. I think there is an easier way to do this. So we can leave them around like that. And then let me see if we can delete this top array, top part. Let's move this again in the X direction. We can apply the array for now and the curve. So we have that, and we can come in and manually rotate these so that they are not as straight as they are right now. So we can take this and yeah, straighten them up a bit. Then you can just select everything, Shift D, duplicate the Z axis, and we would use them as another boolean. So if we hide this and hide this, you can see we have that. So we can apply this boolean and this, and we just need to clean this up a bit. So we don't need, let's see. We don't need those inside faces. So we don't need anything inside here. So we should be left with this, like this. I think we also made a mistake. They are too close to this corner here. So let's undo and unhide. Select that, move it up just around there. Now we can apply the boolean. I'm still intersecting with that line. I don't want to do that. So it should be around there. And apply the boolean, isolate, and we have that. Because we are using booleans, we're going to have a lot of issues when we add a subdivision surface on this. I think Blender has hung right now because of that. But let's see how we are going to solve this. And maybe we can also just join this to this. So let's turn off everything here. Let's also delete these extra objects. And remember, we are using a mirror modifier for this, so we need to add also cuts for this. So we need maybe a knife tool to cut from there to there, and then from there to down there. So we need, then we can delete everything on this side. We still have an issue here. This needs to be like this. Need this to be joined with that. Make sure this cut goes all the way, and so we can select all faces on this side and delete them. Now we only have to worry about this side. So I guess we can apply the the boolean modifier here. So we can select this, add boolean, then select this object and use union. I think we need to have a mirror modifier turned on for this, and also give this a mirror modifier. But make sure all the vertices here are not intersecting. Turn clipping on, and let's select this. Yes, so we can come to this and then apply that boolean. Make sure you have everything else but the mirror turned off, so we can apply that, and we can hide this boolean object. So this is what we have, but our mesh is really messed up right now. We need to fix a lot of things here for everything to work. Let's first turn off this mirror modifier, select these vertices, delete vertices, and let's also delete everything this side. Delete that, and everything in here we can delete. Let's see. Now let's unhide this. Okay, so I think we made a mistake here. Yeah. So I just need to join this with that. Also delete these vertices, and maybe this here. Join this with this. Do we need that? I think I can merge this with this, and this can be merged with that, and so should this here. So these two can be merged to the center, and I think that can be merged there. I don't know, maybe these two like that. You can join this with this, and this with that, and this here can be joined with that like that. And let's see what's going on here. So we also need to delete these vertices and these ones here. That's the problem with using booleans, is that you have to do a lot of cleaning up after. So we can, let me see, join this with this. We can remove these vertices, and I think we can join this with that, and do this like so. I think we made a mistake of making these two, giving these a lot of resolution, because now I have to, there is a lot of them, and I have to edit them, which is making my work a bit hard. So let me see, what can we do? So if you select these, you should be able to merge them as doubles, since they are close to each other enough. If you increase the double threshold, I should be able to remove them, to merge them into 4 instead of that many. So if we increase the merge distance, the problem is creating a weird shapes. So let's just leave them like that, and can join this with this. And this with this. Let's turn on subsurf and see. Okay, you can see we are running into a lot of problems. with this. So let's see. I think we can add a loop that comes around to here, and we can just start joining these with each other. So this and that. And this and that. Let me see if we do this merge center, maybe that might work out better than I should have used just 4 vertices here. So that's what I'm just removing the extra vertices so that I make my work much easier. So I'm going to clean this up, and then in part 6 we can continue.